Happy Thanksgiving weekend, everybody. It's Friday. I can't believe I got this guy here after his trip to Fennec Bliss on Thursday, but he made it. Anyway, Friday football, Syracuse and Temple. Sorry about that. I know you'll get me back 2 or 3 times between now and radio. But anyway, Syracuse is playing Temple this week on the road against Temple. Syracuse laying 7, the total 56.5. Syracuse was good to a few of us a couple of weeks ago when they rocked Louisville, and it was a blowout, wire-to-wire job against the Cardinals. We all thought that the Louisville Cardinals were a tad overrated, and they were. They're playing their 4th roadie in 5 weeks as they go into this game against Temple, but not likely to be intimidated by this Temple defense, which gives up a ton of yardage and about 30.5 points per game, Brian.
Yeah, these are one of the situations we find at the end of each season where you either have 2 teams that are not going bowling, or you have a team that's already going bowling and has really nothing else to play for. And that's what we're looking at here with Temple. Last week we saw with Temple, they played Army. The game shot over the total. I believe it might have surpassed the total in the first half. And then that was a similar situation. I'm going to take a look at the total here. Syracuse's offense has just been terrific as of late. And they're coming off of real high-pressure games. If you remember, in the last month, they beat South Florida, a big comeback. I don't remember what side, but I think you were on that game. And then Missouri, just last week, a last-second comeback on the road. Now they play a lesser team. The offense is going really well. I think you're going to get a good offensive output from both of these teams right now.
Well, I was going to say to Marco that, they played Syracuse has a few pedestrian offenses in the middle of the season against a few of those teams. But against Northwestern and USC, for instance, where they give up 42 points in each game. And if you look when they stepped it up lately against halfway decent offenses, you've seen them again, Syracuse giving up a lot of points. Now, Temple could probably be classified as one of those pedestrian offenses that they faced in the middle of the season. But as I said to Brian, this is their 4th roadie in 5 nights. And as Brian pointed out, this is one of those situations where the level of competition might not get their motivation up after the games they played in. And to me, I agree with Brian also in that I think it affects the defense for Syracuse more than it does the offense.
Oh, it absolutely does, Scott. When you have 2 teams at the end of the season, and I like to do this in both football and in basketball, especially in the NBA, at the end of the season, when it's a game that doesn't mean anything for both parties, and it's got to be both ways, and like we said, Syracuse has already last week got them their bowl eligibility. Intensity's not there, and I've always been a big guy that whenever I'm a big guy. I left myself. I left myself. I did, yeah, there it was. But I've always been big on whenever there's no intensity, no reason to play. Teams are it's going to be like a pickup game. You're in your backyard, because to play defense, it takes, I feel, more intensity and more energy to play defense than it does to play offense. And you have a tendency to see teams just get in track meets, and that's what I got to agree with you. That's what you're going here, I'm assuming, and, I got to agree with you.
Well, the first thing we've learned on this video is that Marco's always been a big guy. The second thing we're going to learn is this is what is your best bet, Brian.
All right, looking for a big shootout here, Syracuse and Temple. Just take a look at the passing yardage that Temple's given up, yards per pass attempt. The last 4 games, 9.8, 11.6, 10.2, 11.5. Syracuse is passing the ball pretty well. They're going to put a lot of points up on the board. The Temple defense has given up 32, 34, 45, 47, 35. A lot of points for Syracuse. And Temple will be able to play right with them. Syracuse in a game where just put up the stats, get out of here. I see this total flying over.
Brian's best bet, I think we all 3 agree. It's a clean sweep here at the pregame.tv panel. The over, Syracuse and Temple, Bryan Leonard's best bet. When we come back, we go to the Big 12, Ames, Iowa to be exact, West Virginia taking on the Cyclones, all that and a whole lot more right here at pregame.tv.